for us are the what is available comm-wise. And this is what we have down, so when we look anywhere around this area, we can look over here and see if we have comm or not. And we have 4 different channels, space ground 1, 2, 3, and 4. As you can see, it's upside down, but that's just the way it happens to be here for us. But these are the prime 2 we use, and it's the most available. And then these are, if we have KU, we have these 2, and we can use those 2. And so it's comm's very important for us. We need to talk to the ground quite a bit. They help us out tremendously. They're the ones with all the real knowledge. Again, so we're just a glorified technician, but I'm qualified for that, just being a tech. And it's good for me. But it is still fun to be up here, no doubt about it. This is the accidental trip we can do. So now we're in node 1 again, where we have our dinner, etc., our place to eat. But we're going to move farther aft, and when we go farther aft, we're going to head into the Russian segment. And you'll see a change. And notice, of course, how I guess the size of this and the sides and the way this US side is built. It's quite a bit difference when you go into the Russian segment.
I'm going to try to do this backwards.
Yes. Donald's trying to go backwards, which is going to be a little difficult for him. We'll see how this turns out. First, you notice we're going through another PMA, which gets quite a bit smaller. We use this for stowage of our main items that we need on a daily basis, kind of like towels, etc., that we get. That's all stowed right in this area. We can grab them when we need them. So this is the first kind of, I would call, a node area for the Russian segment. It's the FGB GA. And so what it is, we can continue that way, which goes back into the FGB and into the service module, or we can go nadir and down into the mini research module number 1. And this is also a little interesting aspect of it. Again, it gets really narrowed down in here for a module. So this is, they call it meme in Russian, that's the Russian acronym meme. But the idea here is there has some science in there. It's more of a storage area for them. It means they keep a lot of their stuff here. And if we continue on, that's the Soyuz that Tano and the rest of his crew came up on. And so that's where we saw out the cupola. That's where you go to get to that one right there, through that area right there. So that's where this is docked to on the meme 1. And so this is one of the newer modules for the Russians. It came up, I know STS-132 put this on, so it's not that old. And you can see it's actually still clean on the sides. As you look at some of the older Russian modules, you'll see that basically this is the pile Velcro right here on the sides. And it's great for sticking things to, however though, it does get dirty and it's hard to clean. And you can probably see that later. Always advantages and disadvantages to everything. So now we'll head into the main part of the FGB.
If I can find it.
As you can see, these are the hatches that they use on the Russian side. And it's set up in a way, basically, because there's usually, when a Russian module comes, it's got a docking probe on it. It goes into these things and it latches onto. And so that's what you have to have a room for the docking probe to go into these things. So they're kind of have this set up on it. This is also for airflow through the Russian modules. You can say we have the ducts going through right here. And actually this one goes all the way over from the service module all the way into node 3. So it's a long running hose that goes all the way across to keep the airflow all the way throughout station 5. Now you can see in the FGB, this is actually where the Russians have their hygiene station, where they clean themselves up. They got their mirror, they got all their stuff right here, so this is where they do it. And we move back again. This is mostly, the FGB is all about storage. It has a bunch of US and Russian storage in here. So behind all these panels there is some equipment, but mostly storage. The containers here are all food. This is how the Russian food comes up in these containers. and this is their spare food that their food they're going to use later on. Okay, now we're going from the FGB into part of the service module, which is like the main living quarters for the Russian side. And this is their kind of, I call it node area. PO is the name of it in Russian. And it has two different ways to go. If you go nadir, you go into the docking compartment and into a progress down that way. And you can see their Russian spacesuits. So this is what they did to the spacesuit about a week ago. And this is what they did it out of the docking compartment. It's actually their airlock. And if you go zenith, we go into the mini research module number 2, and that's where the progress that I came on is docked to. And this is where I have to stay when the Russians do a spacewalk, so I can't be separated from my Soyuz through closed hatches. And so to make sure they want to close that hatch, they're doing their spacewalks. So I have to be in here, so I'll always have an access to my Soyuz back this way. We go a little farther, we can at least go a little bit into the Soyuz. As you can tell, it gets narrower and narrower. The Soyuz is actually a pretty small vehicle.